YouTube, what is up? We are back with another day, and we got a big week coming. K-Dot's letting us send some snatches to go. They're touch-and-go snatches, but he's letting us rip some one-rep maxes today, so that's going to be pretty sickening. We got those clean snatches. I'm going to put those clean snatches after my snatches today, just because last week I felt like I could not get a feel of the snatches after doing clean snatches, and those are that's pretty typical thing for me. If I start with a different variation and then I go to my snatch, and I'm not building up and warming up with the snatch technique, I just totally fuck up the snatch technique. So I'm going to treat that clean snatch as a accessory after and warm up with snatches and get after some touch-and-go snatches. We got some speed pause squats again this week. Squats have been feeling fucking fire after those 405 Zerchers that we lifted last week, so we're just going to keep cooking there. And we just finished up with some sprints outside. It is beautiful out in Minnesota right now, 75 degrees and shining, so tarps have been off every day, and the Peelman is paying off. The only negative so far was sprinting on the hard-ass concrete because my normal turf spot was taken, and the knee is, I'm feeling like I have a 29-year-old knee right now, and it was not loving the pounding on the pavement that we were ripping today, but we were flying. We had some Naruto sprints with the stick behind us. We had 4 sets of 10 there, 10 yards, and then 4 sets of 20 yards as normal sprints, and we were cooking. This past weekend, we were playing in the outfield, and we've been flying in the outfield. My outfield play has been such a significant improvement upon past years' outfield plays, and I've been feeling really, really good out there. And I think a lot of it's just coming in with a body that's able to fucking fly right now, and we've been enjoying that process. But with every win, there is a negative, and this was by far our worst week of fucking hitting. And honestly, not playing as good of pitchers or really as good a defense as we've been playing all year. It was pretty frustrating to just like find that slump this weekend. It's just like the feels of everything was just off, man. I was so domed up. And not even in like a nervous way. Previously, like I've had nerves going into big tournaments and like definitely messing things up. This was just a straight up feel and timing thing, and there's something was just off, and it felt off all week in BP too. Like I was getting good results, but something was just not clicking all week long, and that totally transitioned into the tournament. It was a pretty frustrating experience. So this week we're gonna get right back on the fucking horse, and we're gonna work on some things and really get that feel and timing back of our swing. So next weekend when we're playing, we are ripping the ball, and we got that feel. And the two takeaways that I have, like there's two things that I got to do. Just become a more adaptable hitter. I think right now I have my technique dialed in so much that if that technique is off, it's really fucking with me, and I need to find a balance of having like multiple techniques. And like I was even switching my stance during one game because my closed stance was just totally fucking with me. And I switched to this closed stance, and it totally changed my swing and helped me so much. And I was just feeling so stuck in it. I went to this open stance and ripped 2 balls, and it was perfect. And it was nice to be able to have that just a little bit of adaptability. But I think I need to go to that a little bit quicker whenever I'm having the feels that they're just not there. And Dan, my BP partner, he's just phenomenal at that. When things aren't working, he just has another feel that he goes to. And I think I'm clinging on to feels and past ways of things working just a little bit too much for my own liking. And 2, just stories I tell myself, man. Like I just repeat, like when I get out, it's just like, oh, I fucking suck. Like I say that. And I think it's not like a true feel of like I suck or anything like that. It's just like this instant reaction, and I think it's something that like if I tell myself enough, like I actually like start to manifest it, as fucking weird as that is. But man, it was just, we were just stuck in that rabbit hole and that slump this whole weekend, and those were the 2 takeaways. And like the technique wasn't bad. I don't think there's massive differences in the swings, and we've had 7 tournaments of facing higher level pitchers and defenses than we faced this past weekend, with the results being good. I think it's just more of this mindset thing and just getting that feel back, being more adaptable with my feel, and being better with the mindset and approach at the plate. So those are things we're going to work on this week, but right now we're going to get after some snatches and squats, and let's fucking do it. Let's hop back on the horse, and let's get out of this slump. Let's fucking go. All right, so to start, we got some speed squat doubles. Last week we had triples, so dropping a little rep here. The hips are feeling a little more sticky than last week, but I think the leg drive is going to be there. So with 275, 315, probably had a little bit over 315. Hit those 3 sets, then we got a 70% drop and then a 60% drop for doubles. The goal is to move this bar motherfucking fast, so let's get after this. Let's go. Oof. Oof. Let's go. All right, second set here. In between all of these sets, we're hitting our typical butcher stretch, our dead hangs, and then the little Dozier snatch warm-up series that he showed in his last video, just opening up the shoulders. Feeling pretty good. By the time we're done with these squats, the snatches are going to be primed, and hopefully we can not suck today like we did last week. So let's get after it. Let's go. Oof. Oof. Woo. One more set. Before we rip this last set, I got the question on hypertrophy and bodybuilding for athletes. I'm going to answer a question before we're 25 minutes into a video. For the ADHDers and TikTok, the iPad kids out there, you get your little piece of information and you don't have to watch a meathead lift the whole time. I think hypertrophy training and bodybuilding training needs to be a part of your strength conditioning program. And I think the traditional like bodybuilding methods have been so frowned upon in the athletic world because of the same thing as almost everything. The pendulum is swinging where like so many kids got into strength conditioning because of bodybuilders and they thought that was going to lead to athletic performance and they weren't doing anything athletic and they're just ripping a bunch of arms and just being a bunch of meatheads. And yeah, obviously need to be doing athletic things in your program, right? But adding in the bodybuilding and the hypertrophy work into your program is super, super easy, man. Start your workouts with some sprints, start your workouts with some jumps, lift something heavy, and then the rest of your workouts is going to be some armor building where you're doing some hypertrophy work. You're doing a little bit of bodybuilding work. The same way Mike Davis talked about giving his athletes the piece of candy at the end of the workout for that psychological benefit where you're ripping arms after a heavy set of squat. You have this. You also get the physiological benefits of building up soft tissue and building up size. So many athletes need. I'm not saying every athlete needs it, but there's so many team sport athletes that need to put on size, need to just become bigger athletes. I look at some of these high school kids that are talking about all these special training, and it's like, dude, you don't have an ounce of fucking muscle on you. You need to go do some bodybuilding work. And we just finished up a podcast with the deadliest lifts, and he was talking about even when he's training for like a massive deadlift or some crazy strength feat, one of the best things that he has the people he consults with do is when they're not peaking for a meet to go run just a straight up fucking bodybuilding workout, a straight up hypertrophy workout where they're focused on none of the strength aspect. They go in a completely different direction in the same way we talk about a lot of just building that general base of size and muscle and doing something that's not beating up your body in the same way over and over again. There can be a time and place for a phase like that. And I just think a lot of times the strength conditioning world frowns upon the bodybuilding talk, frowns upon the hypertrophy talk, and I think a lot of it stems from a little bit of insecurity of like kids know how to do bodybuilding, kids know how to do hypertrophy, and that makes them feel like they don't need the smart strength coach that has them do athletic stuff. But it definitely is a key component of strength conditioning. You need to be big, you need to be strong. And I think there's a time and place to have these hypertrophy blocks or have a bodybuilding block, whether it's the psychological benefit or just to give it a totally different physiological training stimulus. And then for the rest of your training blocks, you just sprinkle it in the same way that you sprinkle everything else in, and you do it concurrently at the end of your workout so that it stays a part of your program and you're slow burning. And if you're an athlete that can't afford to slow burning, maybe it's time to focus a 12-week block on that aspect. But most athletes can get so much done by just sprinkling in the hypertrophy and bodybuilding work at the end of their workout and eating in a surplus of calories. If you're not eating in a surplus of calories, none of the hypertrophy work's gonna fucking matter anyways, right? Most athletes can get really, really fucking big and really, really fucking strong by just eating in a surplus and not even doing hypertrophy and bodybuilding work. They're just doing main sets of something lifting, right? Like I'm not even doing a ton of hypertrophy work. I'm just eating in a surplus and I'm getting peeled. So I definitely think it's something that people overthink, people overtalk about. Sprinkle it in at the end of your workouts, and if you can't afford the slow burn and you need to put on fucking size, it's okay to focus a block of your training on that. Just don't have it be right before your season. Make sure that 12 weeks before your season, you're starting to train a little bit more athletically. But there's a ton of benefit to adding muscle as an athlete, especially if you can afford to. If you're a big fucking locked up guy, probably not as much. Most athletes talk about bodybuilding, hypertrophy work are not those athletes. Those athletes have already gone through their little meathead journey, right? So there's not really a negative you're going through that meathead journey. Just make sure you time it correctly, and it's not the only thing that you do. But don't let anybody shame you into not doing arms or getting a pump or getting fucking huge. Like these are all benefits, right? Looking big and massive is a part of being an athlete. And I think we've gotten away from it a little bit, right? So let's get after this set. Let's go. Oof. Oof. Woo. 2 drop sets, then we go snatch. Last tiny little nuggets on the bodybuilder hypertrophy piece. If you're a coach that was asking that question, I'm not really sure who asked the question. I just saw it in the Q&As real quick. There's something to be said about looking the part as a coach. I'm not saying it's all that matters. I do believe it's more important to be athletic and be in a sport and be in something that your athletes are actively doing so you can kind of stay involved and understand what they're feeling and what they're doing and how your program is translating to the field of play. But the easiest way, it's so stupid, it's such a simple thing, but the easiest way to get a lot of clients, the easiest way to get your athletes to believe in you is to look the fucking part. And if running a hypertrophy bodybuilding block does that for you and your clients and your business, it's something that is absolutely invaluable. Not to mention just your health and your own confidence and everything that you're doing. But if you're a skinny skinny, small strength coach that's looking to increase your business, or you're a chubby strength coach that's looking to get buy-in, more buy-in with your athletes. Again, there's a ton of more important things in the long term with your athletes, but you are the walking billboard for your business. You are the walking billboard for the buy-in for your athletes. And I am telling you, when I am chubby and I am not looking the part versus when I am looking the part, business is significantly different. Buy-in is significantly different. The athletes I get into the gym come at a significantly different volume when I'm posting videos when I am more yoked than when I am chubby, right? And I can't blame them. Like, I'm not following a strength coach that is chubby. I'm not following a strength coach that is small, right? So as unfortunate and as meatheady as it is, being your own walking billboard does fucking matter. And if hypertrophy block helps you there, I'm gonna push you to go do it. I'm not saying it's the only thing you should get lost in, because then you're probably gonna have your athletes doing it. I think a lot of strength coaches bias their athletes program towards their own program that they're doing. I know I do that. And if you get lost in a little bit of the bodybuilding rabbit hole, you might have your athletes be a little bit too bodybuilding for my own liking. But if you can avoid that trap and keep them on the athletic program while you're getting yoked and jacked, I think that'll help your business. I think it'll help your confidence. I think it'll help the buy-in with your athletes. And I think it's worth the 12-week block or however long you need to run that to get a little bit more jacked. So if you're a coach asking about hypertrophy and bodybuilding, I still believe there is benefit there. Don't think it can be the only thing you do. I don't think you can get lost in the hypertrophy and bodybuilding world, but it does fucking matter, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know. I don't really know how to put that. Can't really fault the athletes when I do it myself, and almost everybody does it, right? Like, you listen to jacked people, and you don't want to listen to non-jacked people tell you how to get jacked. It just doesn't work in the head, right? So we got a speed single here at 70%. Let's rip. Oof. Ooh, tip forward a little bit. Oof, let's go. All right, last double here at 60%. Let's rip. Oof. Oof, let's go. Get to some snatches, baby. Let's go. Turn up. All right, so we got these touch and go snatches. I've been doing them just little warm-ups with the 15s and the 25s. It's kind of a goofy movement. I don't know if it was just because it was light and I wasn't dialed in, but like touching the ground, like finding my space to touch the ground and then be able to get it back up and keep it clean is a little goofy, but we're gonna get after it. We gotta build up to a 1 rep max here. Let's shut up and rip. Let's go. All right, so the bar's moving pretty good today. It is a little bit awkward with that touch and go just to find that right position, but honestly, it kind of takes me out of my head a little bit. I'm just able to yank, so if I get the timing right, like that 185, I got that timing right. Maybe it was a set before the 185, and the last set at the 185 felt just a little bit awkward, but the bar feels really, really light right now, and if we lock in with this heavy weight, we might be able to rip something fucking sickening today, so let's go. Let's get after it. 'Ooh. Sloppy as fuck. We gotta lock in. All right, this will be our last set, not turning up. We'll keep the music low. We'll keep playing some Rainbow Kitten Surprise, a little bit of Noah Khan in there. Then once we get 225 on the bar, we'll turn up with a little EDM and see if we can turn it into something. That last set, like, I'm looking at the bar, it's moving good, but it's just the feeling of it's just a little off, and I don't really love it. So gotta get over our head, gotta get after it just a little bit more. We gotta dial in. Fucking dial in. Let's go. If we don't turn up with this fucking drive, we're gonna get bodied by this. I'm not finishing that fucking punch, and I'm catching it just a little bit lackadaisical. The bar feels like it's flying. It feels super light. We gotta fucking dial in, and we gotta move this bar. Let's go. God fucking damn it. 225 might be bodying me today. That felt really, really gross. The starting position, it feels like I'm just hinging too far forward. I'm gonna try and squat this one a little bit more, but god dang it, man, that touch and go I'm not feeling a connection to the bar right now. We gotta become one with the bar. We gotta use a little bit more mushroom power and connect with this bar, because it's not feeling connected right now. We gotta get after this. Let's go. Much better with that squat. I got to dial it in. We'll try for one more rep. All right, we got 235 on the bar. If we rip this, sickening. If we get bodied by this, I mean, dude, the Monday snatches have been shit for a little bit. When I get to Thursday, later in the week, when we're a little bit more primed and we're not coming off a big softball tournament every weekend, the bar feels so fucking light and we're destroying those. And I can't tell if it's the variations I'm doing on Monday or if it's just because I'm fucking destroyed from the weekend. Probably a combination of both. But Monday snatches have been absolute fucking dog water recently. So let's turn it into something so we don't have another dog water day. But there's a high probability we got a dog water day coming. Let's fucking send this. Let's go. Just fucking pitiful. The bar's just not moving. I'm gonna talk to K-Dot. I hope it's the touch and go, and I hope I'm just not fucking dog water, and maybe the touch and go was supposed to be significantly under my 1 rep max. But man, body is fucking feeling something from this weekend because we are not popping right now. We got 3 sets of 5 clean snatches to finish up here. Let's get some work in, and we'll dial in for Thursday. Thursday will be a sickening day like it's been the last couple weeks. Tomorrow, I think we got some heavy cleans, so hopefully we're a little bit more primed for that, and we get after it. Let's go. Since we're fucking dog water today, we're going to answer another question to provide some sort of value because the lifting value is not going to be there today. But guys, I asked a question asking what I have my athletes do on game day, whether it's a primer, just nothing, stretching, mobility, like what it is during game day. And honestly, I think it depends per athlete. And that's something that my college did a really, really nice job of, is they allowed the athletes to have the freedom to do what they preferred to do. And as an athlete yourself, I think this is something that you experiment with. You start to feel like what gets you locked in, what gets you dialed. For some athletes, it's trying to be calm, relaxed. They need to just sit in their locker, listen to some music, watch some highlight tapes, breathe a little bit, maybe read their playbook. Like that's some athletes, man. And trying to force those athletes to get all hyped up, do a bunch of activation exercises, I think is something that's wrong, man. If it doesn't get them locked in, it doesn't do them any fucking good. I was an athlete that really, really enjoyed primers. Really enjoyed a long warm-up, really enjoyed getting after it in the warm-up, and that got me psyched up. That got me into the game. The more that I sat in my locker, the more that I wasn't doing things with my hands, the more I got in my head, the more I got nervous, and my body just didn't feel right? So for athletes like me, I'll run them through a primer. And that primer just looks like throwing things, hitting some heel taps. I really like pressure into the ground, so maybe some depth drops or just some slams into the ground, things that jolt the body awake. Fuck, we had some athletes believe in RPR. They were ripping some RPR before that, and if they believe in it, that makes them feel like they're gonna perform at their best. I totally fucking agree with them and have them do some RPR and hype up RPR game day. But honestly, most of it's the psychological experience, man. We can argue physiologically all day long what's right for that athlete, but if their minds aren't in it, none of it's really gonna matter. I'm trying to sell them on some RPR or some primer if it gets them nervous or it gets them not focused or it's not in their routine, it's not something that's going to be beneficial to them. I think as coaches, we just need to be more open to that. Don't force your athletes into molds on game day. Have them experiment with things. I think that's a lot of times. Like some athletes just don't know what a primer is, and having them feel what a primer is like maybe pre-practice or a scrimmage, running all your athletes through it and just seeing which athletes like it. And that's what we did at St. Thomas when we had our scrimmages. I would have all of the athletes run the primer. And then when we got to game days and in season, I just told the athletes that enjoyed that and felt like it got them ready, and they would come out and they would do it. And we had a good chunk of the athletes do that. But the athletes that didn't want to do that, I wasn't going to fight them. Some of the athletes were doing some weird fucking shit on some Bosu balls. Some of the athletes were doing a bunch of catches. The wide receivers love all their catching drills beforehand, man. And if that gets them ready to play, that gets them ready to play. And that's our only goal of a primer. So I really think the biggest thing is don't get in the way of the athletes. Give the athletes the tools that they feel like are good for them. Expose them to a bunch of tools. Have them try out a bunch of tools. And then let them pick the tools that they like and just be there for them to have the best game day experience for them, right? So I do use primers for myself. I do use primers for a lot of my athletes, but I don't force any of my athletes into those primers. And the primers, again, are super simple. We're running some sprints. We're hitting some depth drops. We're hitting some slams in the ground. We're throwing a med ball. We're just getting them ready, excited, and jacked up and ready to play. There's really not much else you can do. The preparation and the skill and the technical and tactical skills are really what's going to matter on the field of play. None of the priming stuff that we do beforehand is really going to change any of that other than the psychological, getting them locked in to perform the technical and tactical skills that they already possess and getting them in the best headspace to just go and do those things and go and do their job rather than thinking about something else, right? So let's get after this. Let's go. All right, we got our last set here. Again, I really like these clean snatches just because they force that overhead squat position. But if I think about that lockout, like I'm not getting a good feel on the lockout position. It's more forcing a drop underneath the bar, which is maybe what I need to focus more on the snatch. But whenever I focus on pulling that bar up, it looks like the second rep of that last series, which is just gross. But if I focus on squatting underneath the bar, just like I do the cleans, then my arms are just hanging above and it's not really a punch. I'm just dropping underneath the bar and catching it overhead. So, ooh. Somebody just got smoked in the ear in soccer here. That looked like it fucking hurt. But we're going to keep drilling in that feel. I'll talk to K-Dot if that's the feel that we're supposed to feel. But I do like the overhead position. I feel like I don't get into anything other than a power when it comes to the snatch because I think my overhead mobility in that squat position isn't the best. So I'm not even able to full squat. But this is the first time I actually feel that overhead squat position in these clean snatches. So we're going to keep ripping that last set here. Let's go. That was a day, a fucking pitiful one. Just like my swings this weekend, we really got to dial in tomorrow and get some kind of win. But body's feeling good, bar's feeling light, technique is feeling like shit, and we're going to figure it out. Big unlocks coming. Let's go. Appreciate you guys watching. Keep chopping wood.